Have you ever sat in the quiet of the night, the clock glowing 2 a.m., and wondered what it is that makes a strong, steady man, an old man who's weathered decades of life's storms, suddenly find his eyes wet with tears, thinking of you? Not because of weakness, but because something deep inside him aches with a longing he can't quite put into words. I'm Vernon, and at 67, I've seen something most people never talk about. Men, mature, dignified men who've spent a lifetime keeping their emotions locked away, brought to their knees by a kind of love they thought they were too old to feel. These aren't boys chasing sparks. These are seasoned souls discovering that even after 60, there are still corners of the heart left unexplored. And in today's video, I'm sharing 4 powerful ways you can reach that place in his heart, the place that keeps him awake at night, wondering how he got so lucky to have you in his life. But first, take a second to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the wisdom that can help you create the love you deserve at this stage of life. Because what we're talking about here isn't casual. It isn't fleeting. It's the kind of connection that makes love after 60 feel richer, deeper, and more transformative than anything you've ever known.
Number 1. Create safety through witnessing his true self. As we grow older, many men carry decades of experience, pride, and unspoken struggles. Over time, they've learned to put on masks, showing strength when they feel vulnerable, offering certainty when inside they're unsure. What they crave more than desire or flattery is someone who truly sees them, the real, imperfect, sometimes fragile man beneath the surface. Witnessing his authentic self means being fully present without judgment. It's listening to his stories, his regrets, his quiet triumphs, and letting him know that who he is, warts and all, is enough. A simple, attentive gaze or a heartfelt acknowledgement can make him feel recognized in ways he hasn't felt in years. This isn't about fixing him, offering solutions, or trying to mold him into someone else's idea of perfection. It's about creating a space where he can simply exist without masks or pretenses, a space where he feels fully seen, heard, and understood. When a man experiences this kind of genuine witnessing, something remarkable happens. The walls he's built over decades begin to soften. The tension of always needing to perform or protect himself eases, and the quiet, tender parts of his heart start to surface. The ancient Greek concept of witness consciousness, the ability to observe and acknowledge without interference, represents one of the highest forms of love. When we truly witness another person, we create what psychologists call unconditional positive regard, a safe space where they can reveal aspects of themselves they may have hidden for decades. What makes this particularly powerful for men over 60 is that we've often spent our entire adult lives performing roles: provider, protector, leader, problem solver. We've learned to present versions of ourselves that meet expectations rather than expressing our authentic thoughts, dreams, fears, and desires. When a woman can see through these performances to the real person underneath, the emotional impact is overwhelming. Dr. Carl Rogers' research on humanistic psychology reveals that being truly seen and accepted for our authentic selves is one of the deepest human needs. For mature men who've spent decades hiding parts of themselves to meet societal expectations, this kind of witnessing can be profoundly healing and emotionally moving. It's not just about being accepted, it's about being known. Instead of focusing on what he does or what he's accomplished, become curious about who he is beneath all of that. Ask questions that invite depth. What matters most to you now that didn't matter when you were younger? What parts of yourself do you miss from earlier in your life? What would you do if you weren't worried about what anyone else thought? This sets the stage for a deeper connection, paving the way for moments where tears, laughter, and unspoken emotions can flow freely.
Number 2. Create intimacy by honoring his path. The Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not truth." What makes this particularly relevant for men over 60 is that we've lived through multiple perspectives, survived changing opinions, and developed wisdom that comes only through experience. When a woman recognizes and honors this accumulated wisdom, rather than dismissing it as outdated thinking, the emotional impact is profound. People who can share their life stories with someone who understands their complexity and honors their journey experience what he calls narrative validation, a profound sense of being understood not just in the moment, but across the entire arc of their existence. For mature men, this kind of recognition can be deeply emotional because it validates not just who they are, but who they've always been. The practical application requires both curiosity and respect for the historical context of their experiences. Instead of judging his past choices by today's standards, try to understand them within the framework of his time and circumstances. Ask questions that honor his perspective. What was that decision like for you with the information you had then? How did that experience change your understanding of the world? What did you learn from that challenge that younger people might not realize? When you can honor a man's entire life journey, the triumphs and the mistakes, the easy periods and the difficult years, the dreams achieved and the ones that had to be released, you're telling him that his life has mattered, that his experiences have value, that the man he's become is worthy of respect and admiration. This recognition often moves mature men to tears because it validates not just their present selves, but their entire existence. When was the last time someone asked him about his life experiences, not with polite interest, but with genuine respect for the wisdom he's gained? When did someone last recognize that his perspective, formed through decades of living, has value that can't be found in any younger person's enthusiasm or energy? Share a moment in the comments when someone's recognition of your experiences, or his, touched you deeply. Honoring of his journey creates deep emotional intimacy, but it also sets the stage for something even more powerful, creating sacred space where this honored soul can rest and be fully present.
Number 3. Nurture intimacy through sacred space. One quiet Sunday afternoon last autumn, my friend Thomas, a gentle soul of 71, was sitting in his garden with Catherine, a woman who had gradually become the center of his world over the past year. They weren't talking, weren't entertaining each other, weren't trying to impress or please. They were simply being together in a silence so comfortable, so complete, that it seemed to wrap around them like a warm embrace. Later, Thomas described that afternoon to me with tears in his eyes. "Vernon," he said, "I haven't felt that kind of peace since I was a child. With Catherine, I don't have to perform or produce or solve anything. I can just exist, and that's enough. After spending my whole adult life feeling like I had to earn my place in every room, I finally found someone who makes space for me exactly as I am. Catherine had mastered the third secret of touching a mature man's heart, the gift of creating sacred space together, a refuge from the world's demands where he can simply be present without agenda, without performance, without the need to prove his value or justify his existence. For men over 60, who have spent decades carrying responsibility, solving problems, and meeting expectations, the gift of sacred space where none of that is required can be profoundly moving and healing. When a woman can create and hold this kind of space, the emotional relief can be overwhelming. But sacred space isn't just about silence or lack of activity. It's about creating an environment, physical, emotional, and spiritual, where authenticity is not only welcomed, but treasured. Catherine created this for Thomas in multiple ways. She made their time together free from judgment or criticism. She didn't fill every moment with conversation or activity. She created physical spaces that felt calm and nurturing. Most importantly, she brought her own sense of peace and centeredness to their time together. Don't try to fill every silence with conversation. Don't feel compelled to entertain or be entertained constantly. Don't bring the world's problems into your time together unless he specifically wants to discuss them. Instead, focus on creating an atmosphere of acceptance, peace, and presence. It might mean taking walks where conversation flows naturally but isn't forced. It might mean creating a physical environment in your home that feels calm and welcoming rather than busy or demanding. Most importantly, it means bringing your own centered, peaceful energy to your time together. Sacred space isn't created by avoiding real life or pretending problems don't exist. It's created by approaching life from a place of groundedness and peace rather than anxiety and urgency. When challenges arise, they're met with calm wisdom rather than frantic energy. Give this video a like to show you value creating calm, grounded connections, and share in the comments how you bring peace and presence into the lives of the older men you care about. So far, we've explored how witnessing his authentic self creates recognition, how honoring his life's journey creates validation, and how creating sacred space creates peace. These three elements build upon each other to create profound emotional intimacy. Also, we have one more secret that ties them all together and touches perhaps the deepest place in a mature man's heart.
Number 4. Embrace the art of loving his future self. There's a deeper truth that applies to love after 60. True love at this stage means choosing someone not just for who they are in their current strength, but for who they will be in their eventual vulnerability. When a woman can communicate this kind of complete acceptance, the emotional impact on a mature man is overwhelming. What makes this particularly powerful for men over 60 is that we're acutely aware of time's passage and the changes it brings. We've watched parents age, buried friends, felt our own bodies begin to show wear. The fear of becoming a burden, of losing our independence, of being seen as less valuable as we become less capable. These anxieties live in the shadows of our consciousness. When a woman addresses these fears directly with love rather than fear, it touches the deepest places of vulnerability and gratitude. Dr. John Gottman's research on long-term relationships reveals that couples who explicitly discuss and prepare for aging together have significantly higher relationship satisfaction and longevity. But more than practical planning, this kind of conversation creates what he calls emotional safety, the security of knowing that love won't be withdrawn when it's needed most. This isn't about morbid focus on decline or illness. It's about communicating a love so complete that it encompasses the full human experience: strength and weakness, independence and interdependence, youth and age. It's about promising presence through whatever transformations lie ahead. The practical application requires both courage and tenderness. You might say things like, "I love watching you take care of yourself, and I want you to know I'll be here if you ever need someone to help take care of you." Or, "Growing older together sounds like the most beautiful adventure to me, whatever it brings." Or simply, "You don't have to worry about being enough for me as you age. You already are, and you always will be." When did someone last tell him that they choose him not just for today, but for all the tomorrows to come, whatever they might bring? When did someone last communicate that their love is strong enough to handle whatever changes time brings to both of you? This kind of love that encompasses past, present, and future selves, creates emotional security that allows a man to be completely vulnerable, completely authentic, completely present. He doesn't have to hide his concerns about aging or pretend to be stronger than he feels. He can rest in the knowledge that he is loved not conditionally, but completely.
As we come to the end of our time together, let me leave you with this wisdom from the poet Maya Angelou. A woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him just to find her. But I would add this truth about mature love. A woman's heart should be so full of understanding that a man discovers parts of himself he never knew existed when he's in her presence. Today, we've explored 4 profound secrets that touch the deepest places in a mature man's heart, witnessing his authentic self beneath all the roles he's played, honoring the entire journey that shaped him into who he's become, creating sacred space where he can simply exist without performance, and loving not just who he is today, but who he will become through all of time's changes. But these aren't techniques to manipulate emotions or create dependency. They're expressions of the deepest form of love, the kind that sees, honors, shelters, and commits without condition. When you can offer this to a mature man, his emotional response isn't just attraction or gratitude. It's the recognition of finding what his soul has been searching for his entire life. The tears that come to his eyes at 2 a.m. when he thinks of you aren't tears of need or desperation. They're tears of recognition, of gratitude, of wonder that such love exists and that he's been blessed to receive it. They're the tears of a heart that has finally found its home. After 60, I've learned that the most beautiful love stories aren't about passion or romance in the traditional sense. They're about 2 souls recognizing each other
across all the years of living, all the layers of protection, all the fears about what lies ahead. They're about finding someone who can love not just your strength, but your vulnerability, not just your present, but your past and future, not just who you pretend to be, but who you truly are. Thank you for joining me today. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like, share it with other women who might need to understand the profound power they possess to touch a man's heart at the deepest levels, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that helps you create the kind of love that moves souls to tears of gratitude and wonder. The men in your life are waiting to be seen, honored, sheltered, and loved completely. This is Vernon, and you have the wisdom to offer these gifts.